Some of you have asked where I went, why I stopped uploading, etc. And I think it's time to open up about my mental health journey and how it's affected me as a YouTube creator. So, welcome to my TED Talk. Now, in order to do that, we gotta go back to when I was a little itty bitty Gabby. And I promise this goes somewhere. Promise. Swear. On God. When I was a whopping 10 years old, I was prescribed my first in a very, very long line of little itty bitty tiny white pills. They come in every shape and size, and most people refer to them as antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds, you know, that sort of thing. But I prefer the term happy pills because they just make me oh so happy. And why on earth would my doctor want to talk to me and my parents about how nutrition, exercise, meditation, and counseling can all work together to help combat anxiety and depression symptoms when she can just slap a diagnosis on me when I'm a literal child and get me addicted to prescription drugs for the rest of my life? Anyway, I've tried different meds up to the age of 19, where after 9 years of instability that led me down the righteous path to make so many oh so amazing decisions, I finally landed on a combination of a tiny little circular pill and a tiny little pentagonal pill, where I was settled until very recently. Like 3 months ago recently. Now, if you've ever been on any sort of mind control medication, I mean, mood regulating medication, like anything from Big Pharma, there's enough side effects to kill a horse, bring it back to life, and then kill it again. Like 5 times. And that's really most of the battle, is finding something that doesn't make you wake up in the middle of the night thinking that you're fighting a Demogorgon, or something that doesn't make the bottom of a cliff look like a nice little forever spot. So where I'm going with this is that there were some side effects of the medication that I was taking that wasn't really readily apparent until very recently. And when I consulted my appropriate medical professional, we agreed to discontinue it and see how it went, then reassess if I needed something to substitute it down the line or if I was gonna be okay. Now this is where it gets fun! Throughout my journey, quitting antidepressants or anti-anxiety meds has perpetually been like getting hit in the head with an electric baseball bat, like repeatedly, and crying about the fact that the sheets on my bed are gray, or the grass hasn't been mowed. Pretty much f***ing everything that doesn't matter, I would cry about because I get like super sensitive. And you may be asking, but Gabby, why an electric baseball bat? That's interesting. Well, because lucky me, I'm one of those extra special sensitive people that experience something called brain zaps. I'm down to my last couple of brain cells anyway, so why not just zap them all away, right? Every time I move, so when I stand up, when I shift my eyes, that's the big one for me. It feels like not only the room is spinning, but there's an electric jolt that kind of happens in my brain, and I hear this sappy sound. It's really weird and it's hard to explain, but it's super uncomfortable. It's like I took vertigo and I leveled it up with electricity. Like, fun stuff. So in addition to going through all of this, we were in the process of moving house, planning a trip to Australia, etc., etc. To clarify, I'm not complaining at all. I just need to paint like this timeline in this picture for you guys so that you can better understand what happened. So we closed on our house, hired a moving company within 2 days, packed as much as we could in that time frame, brought it to the new house, then spent the rest of that week packing, cleaning, and getting the old house prepped for the landlord. So after that, we had 1 more week of getting as much unpacking as we could before we went to Australia, and prepping videos to have on deck on top of Eddie's already existing upload schedule, and getting all the paperwork, travel documents, all that sort of stuff sorted for the international travel. So in short, we had 2 weeks in our new house before we went to Australia. Like, I hadn't even gotten a chance to settle in. And if you've ever moved before, like, you would know that it takes a little while to get acclimated to it. So like, I wasn't really sleeping that well, which is super healthy. And my brain cells were throwing a temper tantrum because they weren't getting their candy. So the amount of stress and anxiety I was feeling amplified the withdrawal symptoms even more, to the point where a new symptom has entered the building. Introducing intrusive thoughts. Yay, me. This was all coming to a head right before we went to Australia. Okay, at the airport in Los Angeles, we found out that Molly and Josh and Christy were all sick. Molly had COVID. It was unknown what Josh and Christy had. We later found out that it was the flu, but still. Basically, our first week was shot, and we had to extend our trip an extra week, which was unanticipated. And me being like the worst at transitioning and very inflexible because anxiety was just like kind of going crazy. And I know it wasn't their fault. Like, I'm not, whatever. It was what it was. But it was just a lot for me to process at the time. Being stable, it would have been hard, but being unstable, it was very hard. So with all of that said, I need to talk about where my channel was at that point, because this is important as well. I'd done a few collaborative videos with Eddie, and they were banging, like doing so well for my channel. They were my ideas, concepts that like I had found through research and like seeing what has worked with other YouTubers and what hits the algorithm and all that stuff. And I felt like I was, on a roll and doing really well. I was proud of the content that I was making. But then I started seeing comments. Comments like, wow, she's only using Eddie for the views. Or Eddie's channel is really great. Oh, wait. Or has anyone noticed that her videos by herself aren't really funny? Like, she's not funny. Bitch, I know. And those are some of the mild ones. Like, some of y'all are truly f***ed in the head and need therapy. Like, I thought I was bad. I really thought I was bad, but yeah. Therapy. And, not just one, like a team of therapists to iron out what the f*** is going on up there. It's just unreal, some of the things that I've seen people say. So the ensuing transitional chaos that I mentioned earlier meant that I had less time to prepare for my vids, which consequently resulted in lower retention, lower views, etc., driving down the statistics on my channel. And we all know that YouTube has this really great feature where if your videos are lower than normal, they shove it in your face and they're like, hey, people aren't watching your videos. Fix it. And I'm like, I'm trying to survive. So that resulted in more negative comments as well. And, I know about these negative comments because I don't typically read comments for my mental well-being, but Jacksepticeye had uploaded a video while I was in Australia about responding to the comments section. And I thought it would be like a really fun and potentially funny idea. And so I went through my comment section, and when I say I bawled my eyes out, look, I know I'm not the funniest person alive, believe me, I know. It takes a lot of effort for me to turn that funny bone on. And most days, those specific brain cells just don't want to come out to play. They're like, nah. But especially when I'm stressed, it's amplified. It takes effort for me just to get in front of the camera. And to preface this, I'm the kind of person who hated seeing myself on camera, hearing myself, because I thought my voice was annoying, and I still think my laugh is annoying, and there's still things that I'm trying to get used to, but I get terrible anxiety before I step in front of the camera, and it got a hell of a lot worse during this time period. Look, I'm the kind of person whose happy place is being by herself. I love to just lay on my bed and cuddle with my cats and play Stardew Valley on my Switch and paint and make clothes and play music and just do things by myself because that's where I feel safe and where I feel happy. I've been hurt by a lot of people, so I tend to avoid socializing and being online in front of a lot of people where I have a community is something that, as much as I've tried to adapt over the years, it's still really hard for me to get used to. And it sucks when I've worked so hard to get this far And there's like some comments that just, they make me feel unwelcome on my own channel. That's so, to recap, stressful life situations, antidepressant withdrawals, plus anxiety based around my channel and creating new videos all led to me avoiding doing anything. I found literally every excuse to not record. Like, oh, this needs unpacking. This needs to get done. I need to order this. I need to have this meeting. And, you know, all these things like take priority over my channel because, you know, my channel is just, it's not making me happy right now. Like that was kind of my mindset. And if it weren't for one comment that I saw on Twitter recently asking me why I stopped making videos, it might have taken me a lot longer to return in the first place. So, overall message, please be kind, because you don't know what someone's going through. Just because I try to put a smile on other people's faces, like I try, doesn't mean that I'm always happy or that I'm immune to rude, just really awful comments. Quite the contrary. And if you happen to be going through antidepressant withdrawals, you know, I'd encourage you to talk to your doctor, because I found out after the fact when I told her that I was having like intrusive thoughts and all these crazy things. The f was that? She was like, oh, you should have called me. We could have, you know, changed up your plan and like spaced it out so that it was easier on you. And I'm like, bitch, why didn't you say that before? But know that you'll make it through, because if I did, you can too. It only took 3 months. So, if you made it to the end of this video, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you can take something away from this. Love you guys. Be kind. See you soon.